What's going on, everyone? Today, we're going to be talking about Tiffany Haddish, and we're going to be talking about the news on how she settled. If you don't know the situation with Tiffany Haddish was sued for some. They was allegedly accusing her of child molestation or some kind of like disturbing acts in a skit that her and the comedian Aries was actually doing. His name is Aries Spears, and they was actually accused of some misconduct of minors on doing certain skits. Now, it was reported from Tiffany Haddish camp and Aries Spears camp that they was doing this. It was only an act of a child predator, but nevertheless, it's still disturbing when you see things like that. I don't know if you watched the skits or the videos of years back that they did it, but it was very disturbing for me to watch, and I couldn't watch all of it because it was eerie. And I do understand that when you're acting, you play a role of a character. And when you play a role of a character, that's what, makes you, feel like whether excited or make you feel a little bit like, oh man, disturbed a little bit, because that's the role of an actor. Now, I'm not saying what they did was right or wrong, but I will say if it was me, I could not play a role like that because it's too disturbing to me for me to do that. But, that's just my opinion. So, let's go a little bit into the article from Yahoo where they actually discuss the situation with her reasonings for settling out of court. And it could be a plethora of reasons, y'all. Y'all need to understand that when you have money, when you have money, seven times out of 10, you're more likely to kind of get out of it because you can settle it. And it might be in your best interest to do it that way. So I definitely want to kind of just talk about this a little bit very briefly. So after weeks of silence and speculation and vague statements on social media, Tiffany Haddish has settled with the siblings who accuse her and fellow comedian Aries Spears of grooming and molestation. Now, the settlement also blocks the public from seeing the original complaint that was made by the mother of the two children, I believe. Now, Spears and Haddish were sued by two siblings who went by the synonyms of Jane Doe and John Doe, according to the court documents. Now, they alleged that they were groomed and involved with several sexually suggestive skits with the comedians while they were minors at age 7 and 14. And as a result, the siblings said they have suffered mental anguish because of that. Now, according to the siblings, Haddish had been friends with their mother for a long time, and on two different occasions, she had them film several inappropriate skits. Now, one of the skits was called Through a Pedophile's Eyes, featured a 7-year-old John Doe in the video, which was uploaded to Funny or Die and quickly removed. Spears played a pedophile who takes sexual interest in Doe's character. He's shown lusting over the boy throughout the video, and in one scene, John Doe is shirtless in a bathtub, and Haddish portrays the mother of Doe's characters in the skit. Now, in another skit, Jane Doe says she was made to simulate, fellatio with a sandwich. Now, Spears addressed the lawsuit and allegations while appearing on his podcast, and he described the situation as an extortion case and a shakedown. And Spears also expressed fear that it will ruin his career. And he said, I already felt like my career was over before all this. I thought I was blackballed and that my, shit was over. But I always said I felt like I was one thing away from turning around. But now with this, I'm almost certain that my tombstone is written. Now, Tiffany Haddish was more hush-hush about the matter. She didn't really talk about it to the media, and she shared an apology on Instagram, telling her millions of followers that the sketch was intended to be comedic, but it wasn't funny at all. And this was her quote. She said, I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there's an ongoing legal case, there's a very little that I can say right now. But clearly, while this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all, and I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about the situation as soon as I can. Now, you know, because of John Doe and Jane Doe were minors, all parties have agreed to keep the complaint sealed to protect, John Doe's identity. And the full public availability of the complaint could permit public identification of plaintiff John Doe and by association plaintiff Jane Doe, the filing read. Now, it goes on to say, from the mother of the two children, said that my family have I known Tiffany Haddish for many years, and we now know that she would never harm me or my brother or help anyone else do anything that could harm us. We wish Tiffany the best and are glad that we can all put this behind us. And that was the sister. Basically, man, at the end of the day, everybody's going to have their opinions on the situation, on what they feel and what they think about the situation. But I'm gonna tell you this, and I said this before. I made a post on Instagram in regards to, there was somebody that was asking her questions, and it appears that she was in the airport. And the question, and the thing I want to say is that sometimes we make mistakes in life, and I'm not saying that she did anything wrong, and I'm not saying she was right in the situation. But what I am saying is that it was good of her to make a post. She apologized, she moved forward, and she settled. Now, when you have a career like Tiffany Haddish, who can probably, rebound from this a little bit, Aries Spears is probably another thing. He reported by saying that, you know what, man, I'm probably done, because this is probably too big a blow to my actual brand, to my business, and I probably won't get any more gigs. Now, Tiffany Haddish had said to somebody that was asking her questions in the airport that, I lost everything, and, I can't get any gigs. I don't know. It sounded a little bit that she probably could have been, being a little bit sarcastic, but at the end of the day, I don't know her funds. I don't know if anybody or sponsors or anybody else had backed out, but I will say she probably have time. Especially it appears that she may have a publicist and a manager that be able to iron things out in due time. It's going to take patience, but at the end of the day, man, my heart goes out to those two minors. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that they was able to settle this thing, and everybody was able to agree that she didn't really mean no malicious harm to those two children. So this is Affirmative Talk with yours truly, Samuel Richardson III. And at the end of the day, I want everybody to be blessed and take care.